You know what they say in show business? No Trevor, no problem. Let's do this. You're watching Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks, your team every day. You know the deal, right? You know the deal. My name, Kyle Bowen. And if you know the deal, you're probably thinking, right, where's Trevor Beggs? It's pretty clear that part-time media member, right, on behalf of the Daily Hive, you kind of hear it on the show. That guy cares about his family more than he cares about you, the viewer, the listener. It is what it is. Thank the hockey gods that I'm here. All right, because I'm a fan first. Speaking of the fans, we're going to save the comments from our last episode till the end of the show because, again, we got to save the best for last. Off the rip, though, got to be honest with the people, right? Honest person, honest podcast. Didn't watch the game last night. I didn't forget about it, but I didn't watch the game last night. It is what it is. There's things to do, and meaningless games are still hard to watch for me. Even a dude who has to make this podcast, wants to make this podcast and this show for you, the viewer. Even that guy's having a hard time watching the games. That being said, we got Trevor's Notes brought to you by Kyle Bowen. And we're going to move the notes to this screen right here, okay? We got Trevor's Notes here. And I got to say, this dude is a hard-working man. And you got to be if you care about your family that much. Straight up. You got the notes on deck. And I like what he did off the jump, right? Brock Boeser. This guy is digging up the facts, and he's looking into that world of assumptions, right? Because I see something crazy here. An article on dailyhive.com that's talking about Boeser being left out of the advertising among core players for next season. Trevor Beggs, man. This guy's a dark dude. You may think I'm the dark guy on the program. No, Trevor is the dark dude. Boeser, who has goals in 3 straight games, and Trevor Beggs has the audacity to put that on the notes. It's a story. It's a story, and I don't think it's that surprising, right? The economy. It's the economy, and you're not going to waste money on a sticker you may not use. All right, for real. This offseason is so much for the Vancouver Canucks, and we said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again, and Bick brought this up on Sportsnet 650 a couple days ago. He talked about how for every team, the following offseason is that offseason, the most important offseason in franchise history. It's cliche to say, but again, it's the truth amongst all teams. That being said, for your Vancouver Canucks, you can. I'm gonna go in here, okay? You can argue that this is one of the biggest off seasons for any team in NHL history because we're talking about the Vancouver Canucks. We're talking about Canada. We're talking about the West Coast of Canada. Hockey needs to start mattering in this city more. And what I mean by that is everyone needs to be engaged on the games. The games need to matter. It needs to happen. This is Vancouver again. The NHL needs it. And the NHL is still that game. It needs help. And we know the city of Vancouver and the people that rally around this team can really do a lot. And they can only do a lot, and this is connected to the franchise too, if they begin winning again. They begin making sure that every game matters. And I know patience is what? Let me drink some water. Bro, it's been one of those mornings, right? Waking what? You know the deal, right? BC. Shout out BC. Where was I going with this? The Canucks. I know patience. Patience is is needed, and Rutherford and Alvin just got here, and they've done a lot already. But again, they just got here. But 10 plus years is far too long, far too long. And the end doesn't seem near. So this offseason for the Vancouver Canucks has to be so groundbreaking. They need to write books about what happened in these next 3 months. If and when the Canucks are that team, they can build upon their legacy and they become Stanley Cup champs. I think if it doesn't happen this offseason, if this franchise doesn't have one of those epic roster management runs this summer, there's a chance. There's a chance. And I've been saying this because it's happened in the world of sports, right? Look at the Jets. Look at the Cleveland Browns. Look at the Oilers before McDavid. Look at the Panthers. Yeah, look at the Coyotes. Look at Buffalo. I'm sure there's some teams in the NBA. Look at Sacramento, right? You're talking about the Canucks being back for 10 years. Yo, it is possible. And dude, should we come on? We got to put this out here. It's possible for this team to still be bad for another 10 years because they are still far away from proving it. And it needs to happen next season. They need to prove it early and often that things are going to work out. How did we go from Brock Boeser to this? All over the place. All over the place. Speaking of Brock Boeser, again, they're not going to waste money on a sticker that they may not use. If big changes happen, there's a chance that Brock Boeser is part of a swap because it makes sense. It makes sense. Now, it also makes sense, a lot of sense, for Boeser to still be around because that contract is that contract. All in all, I think it's good that Boeser is finding his game here in these meaningless games, but it's only real good. It's only great. It's only to be talked about even more if, again, October and November is going well for him and the Canucks. No more slow starts, okay? What else does Trevor have here? Shout out to Trevor, okay? Shout out to his notes. Boeser, Miller, and DiGiuseppe line dominated against St. Louis last night. 24 shot attempts and 7 against the fancy stats. Trevor's the nerd on the program, right? What do I do with that? 24 divided by 7? What's the percentage? Is that how I do it? Anywho, DiGiuseppe, that guy's a Tocchet favorite. He really is. And I think the only thing we can learn from DiGiuseppe this season is that it's never too late. There's got to be some philosophy drawn from this because, nothing really matters this season. For real, these games don't matter. But some of the stories do, and I think DiGiuseppe's story is take number 1 of doing this ad break. Again, I'm talking way too much, which isn't good. Come on, come on. We got to give back to the people who support this show, not just the fans, but our sponsors as well. And we have to get into talking about Built Bar. Now, Trevor Beggs, right? This dude, Trevor Beggs, he's been eating these things and he's been enjoying it. He's been doing his thing. It doesn't get stuck in your teeth, okay? Now, that's the thing I was saying. But Trevor Beggs, that dude, family man, health and wealth is even more important for a guy like that. Let's be honest. He actually has responsibilities, and just grabbing something on the go like a Built Bar is doing wonders for that guy because he is looking a lot more healthier. And he keeps talking about these flavors as well, right? Churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. Coconut almond, that sounds tropical. And churro, that's a luxury. That's a luxury. You got to try Built Bar, okay? With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, Trevor Beggs is saying they're so delicious, you won't think they're good for you. He also claims this is perfect for people who, want to continue that New Year's resolution, right? Quarter 1 is over. Quarter 2 is about to begin. Keep it going, right? Make it easier and make your life healthier with Built Bar, okay? You can order your favorite flavor of Built Bars today at BuiltBar.com. And what? 130 calories? Are you serious? 4 grams of sugar? 17 grams of protein? Where do you get this again? Oh, yeah, built.com. I was going to say builtbar.com, but it's actually built.com. Damn, they got a good domain. Shout out to Built. Okay, we're back on Locked On Canucks. My name Kyle Bowen. Once again, Trevor Beggs not with us today. He chose his family over you, the people. And let's be honest, will he ever be back? There's a chance he may do that again. So, yeah, it is what it is. Let us know how that makes you feel in the comments below. That being said, we gotta go back to Trevor's notes, brought to you by Kyle. And we got to do it because Kuzmenko, Beggsy mentions it. He's got what, 37 goals? 37 goals for Andrei Kuzmenko. Uh, right after Petey, right after Hughes, it's Kuzmenko. There's been a lot of great individual performances this season for the Vancouver Canucks. I think JT Miller is still piling up points too. Good individual season. Kuzmenko is definitely part of the mix. Probably the most exciting Canuck this season. Yeah, Petey's doing it, but right now, since all we have is moral victories, Kuzmenko just has that clout in that department because the Canucks got a big fish. It looks that way, and it is that way. I think this guy has way too much fun in life to ever stop doing what he's doing, and there is a chance, and I guess we got to bring up the chance, right? Let's say Kuzmenko is having a season like this next season, and it's possible because he's going to be playing with Pedersen. Anything is possible, and Kuzmenko, again, having fun, very skilled in the game, doing his thing. There's a chance that Kuzmenko does this again, and let's also say that the Canucks are doing this again. They're out of it. They have no chance. They're not going to the dance. There's going to be another prime opportunity to get something for Kuzmenko, and you could argue that the value would have doubled in 1 year. This is dark. This is dark, dude. This is dark. Let's not do this, okay? It's sunny outside, and I just thought about trading the most exciting Canuck this season, a Canuck that really does embrace the market. It's my opinion, but it's also dark. Can we brighten things up? Can we brighten this thing? Think about this, okay? If Kuzmenko does this again and Demko does this again, there's a chance, in October, November, that's when again is, that things do change. And down the road, 12 months from now, the games and the feeling around the city is different, right? 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that matters. That matters a lot. There's a chance that happens, especially if those two come out to play early next season. Another guy that is making noise, and again, a big part of that equation, if October and November matters, is Dakota Joshua. Now, Trevor is far more sold on this dude than I am, but it's clear that good teams, great teams, have depth that make an impact every now and then. And Joshua is part of that equation. If he's taking the next step or brings this late season Dakota Joshua into next season right away, the Canucks are going to win more games because he's, how we talked about DiGiuseppe and, not giving up and making it the prime example, blah, blah, blah. I think Joshua, based on reports, based on the story, he has that, but he also has I wouldn't say the pedigree, but the talk about him possibly being this guy, him possibly being not just an everyday NHL player, but an impact player, a difference maker. And he definitely has the tools and the belief from Rick Tocchet. Hey, speaking of Rick Tocchet, man, Beggsy mentioned how he may stick around town and participate in off-season workouts with the boys. Did I hear that right? Sometimes I just hear things. I'm all over the place. If that's incorrect information, it is what it is. But but it's sounding like the players or the march to next season, right? The march to next season has already started, and it's going to continue all the way into October and November. Because if you think about it, right, great teams who play in late April, late May, they're playing a lot more hockey than the teams that aren't. And wouldn't that equate to teams who don't play a lot of playoff games to think about, extending the season, even if you're not in the playoffs, in other terms, or maybe cutting the offseason shorter just so you can get guys in earlier. I don't know. Isn't that like some football logic that could be implemented here? Because something's got to give. Again, we're talking about October and November really, really mattering for the people, the franchise, the players. If that's the case, yeah, things have to be done differently. And I could definitely see more. What's the word? I talked about it on my network in that show, Kyle and His Robot. Camaraderie? Camaraderie? That's how you say it, right? Maybe that starts earlier next season. I mean, did I just swear that? I'll bleep that out. I mean, I'll say it again. This is take 46 of doing this ad read. Okay, I'm getting a call from the ups. I think it's time to cut the break, all right? I'm talking way too much. Let's all talk about FanDuel right now, right? I think Trevor keeps saying that this is the midway point of the NBA season. You got to download FanDuel. Dude, it's the end of the NBA season. It's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. All right. And it's a good time to download it because new customers, yes, new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. You got to lead with love, right? That's why they're doing it, right? Sharon is Karen. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers to threes drained. Trailblazers. No, we're not talking about the Trailblazers, okay? The Golden State Warriors. I think the Sacramento Kings is a chance for them to meet in the playoffs. Maybe you want to bet on some games. I think that matchup in the playoffs, right? California, that could be something if you're trying to get into basketball like me, or if you're already doing it. Just bet on the games so you don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet. Remember, up to 100. No, I almost said 100,000, $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/locked on. That's FanDuel.com/locked on to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel. With FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. We're back. Locked on Canucks. Kyle Bowen with you again. Trevor Beggs not with us today, and it is what it is, and it's a damn shame because we just reached 400 subscribers, which is a big deal. Okay, I'm gonna pick someone from the comments below to be the recipient of something close to me. The best comment on today's episode will win my dog. My dog, Loki, he's a good boy. Just had him for 3 days. 3 days. He lives with the parents now. Just had him for 3 days. To this day, I don't know anyone cooler than Loki. And since y'all been showing love to the show, we got to show love back. The best comment wins my dog. Hey, speaking of those comments, we got to save the best for last. Cash McGregor chimed in on yesterday's episode, and he gave us some enlightenment on how to enjoy these games for someone like me, right? Meaningless games for me, they're hard to watch. For Cash McGregor, he continues to just look at the entertainment value of these games, right? Because let's be honest, and I'm talking to myself here, right? If I'm not watching 2.5 hours, yes, 2.5 hours of hockey, of NHL hockey involving the team and some great athletes, right? Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson. If I'm not doing that, there's a good chance in this economy that I'm spending that much time on my phone, being entertained, being clueless, but ultimately probably not making the right choice. I got to watch more hockey and I just got to be entertained. And bro, it's going to happen. Trevor Beggs has me on that off-season regimen, okay? I'm back. I'm back in it, okay? I used to have my room painted in blue and green for what? Maybe 15 years. I was still sleeping in a room colored what? Blue and green. When I was what? 22 years old? And I loved it. It was a good time. I want to get back to that, and I know I will because I have it in me. I have it in me. This place matters. And the NHL needs to matter a lot more in the city again. And it will, and it still does, but it will when the games, again, actually matter. And for now, I guess when I say for now, because, I believe next season is going to change. More on that in the summer. For now, there's still a handful of games left. There's a lot of entertainment value there, right? Look at what Pettersson did with Kuzmenko yesterday. That's happening on the daily. It's a good time to watch hockey. Be entertained. Stay off the phone, right? Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Next comment. What do we have here? Great point on locking up Pettersson. If it's an 8-year term, what do you guys think the figure is? I think Pasternak signed for what? Pasternak signed for 11.25. Yeah. Why not the same number? And it may be larger because Pettersson's younger, right? And the number is going to be high, right? Because everyone is getting signed to long-term deals and cashing in. And Pettersson and the Canucks had a chance to reach on an agreement similar, 3 years ago? And they didn't. They didn't. And what has Pettersson done since? Not a lot of winning, but look at what happened this season. I think he deserves to get what he wants for a team that, again, had their chance to get him for a lot less. Didn't give him the 7-year deal, the 8-year deal that a lot of other people were getting. Didn't do the smart thing. Put their money in other places. He is going to get whatever he wants. And it may be one of the only ways or the only point of leverage, I think. Because, again, we saw what happened with Tkachuk. Anything can happen. The money's going to matter and do a lot of the talking in the negotiations this summer. It doesn't help, again, when the team's not winning, when you can't pull that out, put it on the table. The number's going to be heavy. Again, more on that this summer with Beggsy and Bowen when we talk Canucks on Locked On Canucks, your team every day. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Subscribe, leave a comment, like, and listen to us wherever you stream podcasts, right? Stop scrolling. Listen now. Just go for a walk and listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, or again, wherever you stream your podcast. I'm sorry if I messed up the outro for this show. I'm probably supposed to say something, but time's ticking. It is what it is. You probably have had enough of me. Okay, let's be honest. Let's be real. Again, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.